Sweet 16 kicks off tonight, and we just heard John Calipari there tell his team not to drink the Kool-Aid. Should Kansas State drink the Kool-Aid that Kentucky has given out, that the way the Wildcats are playing right now? How serious should Kentucky take Kansas State tonight, Seth?
Serious as a heart attack. I mean, Kansas State is a good basketball team. When you think about Kansas State, they are really, really aggressive defensively. I mean, their defensive turnover percentage is in the top 25 in college basketball. They get up and under. They're aggressive. They take you out of offense. That's the type of defense Kentucky has struggled with. John Calipari is telling the truth. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. I don't know about these SEC coaches. You know, Saban says rat poison. You know, John Calipari says don't drink the Kool-Aid, but they are 100% right. You're starting 5 freshmen. And when you start 5 freshmen, you get to the Sweet 16, you get back on campus, everyone's telling you how wonderful you are. But the deal is, they're wonderful when they play hard, when they play together, when they trust each other, and they get caught up in what it takes to win. So you know what? The next game, the most important game, we saw them win 4 in a row in the middle of the season. And at the end of the season, then they had to play Florida on the road. They got absolutely smacked. That was the best thing that happened in Kentucky because it got their attention. John Calipari had their total attention. I texted Cal this week. I said the most important thing for him to do is grind his team right now. Get him back to earth. Get him to understand what it takes for them to be successful. What it takes is for them to play hard, play together, play to their strengths, and trust each other. That's what's made them good. Kansas State, if they don't match Kansas State's toughness, they will get beat by Kansas State.
Well, Coach, I deeply appreciate you, Coach, chiming in and letting the world know exactly what John Calipari thinks. You practically echoed the sentiments because we all know John Calipari looked at his team and said, you know what, you stink. And if you don't come and bring your A game, you're going to get blown out. You've disappointed me. You're sorry. Get it together. We all know that's what John Calipari tells his teams because to him, the world is all gloom and doom until a victory takes place. That's his strategy. He's been that way forever. I've known him for damn near 30 years. That's who he is. But let me tell you this, Coach. I'm more interested in this game. Texas A&M and Michigan. To me, that might be the most exciting game for the Sweet 16 because I got to tell you something. I watched Texas A&M. They got some monsters up in there. Everything Carolina brought in their direction, they sent to the stands. I mean, these boys are something real. Talk to me about this matchup.
Yeah, Stephen, you obviously been listening to me talk because Texas A&M is for real. Think about this. Tyler Davis, they can play through him on the low block. He's patient. He can get to the rim. He can finish. Robert Williams is a lottery pick. 6'10", runs the floor. This is an elite offensive rebounding team. They're plus 34 on the boards in just the 2 NCAA tournament games. Here's the key to A&M. They must take care of the basketball. They're turning over like 19% of their possessions. If they take care of the basketball, take good shots, and that comes on TJ Starks, all of a sudden you're going to see A&M advance. They do a great job defending the 3. They can play man. They can also play a little zone. That front court is as good as any. And I didn't even mention Tony Trocher-Morelos, who comes off the bench, or DJ Hogue, a big-time jump shooter, or Admon Gilder, who's kind of like the pulse of their team. A&M, to me, is going to win the game against Michigan. Mo Wagner has struggled in the NCAA tournament, but more importantly, that 11-day time when they were off really hurt their chemistry.
Let's do this. Max, unless you want to jump. Go ahead, Max.
Coach. Yeah, Coach. Is this the Loyola Chicago versus Nevada? Is that the battle of Cinderellas? Like, it seems to me Loyola Chicago was picked by a lot of people going into the tournament as a potential, spoiler. And yet it's Nevada who's had, I think, the most Cinderella ride so far. What about that matchup?
It's an interesting matchup. I've waffled on this matchup all week. And look, you're talking about a Nevada team that is really efficient offensive. They got the best one-on-one player maybe in the tournament left in Caleb Martin, and they put him in isolations. They play off NBA analytics because of Eric Musselman. All right, they're going to shoot the 3. They're going to rack it. They're going to try to get to the glass. What I did not realize until I started watching video is that they are a really good defensive team, and they run you off the 3-point line. What does Loyola do? Loyola is a terrific passing team, assisting on 75% of their field goals in the tournament, and they're a great 3-point shooting team. Nevada's ability to run them off the 3-point line, and then on the other end, Nevada playing off spacing, playing off isolations. They've got really talented players. Stevens knocks down jumpers. Caleb Martin can play on one-on-one. Jordan Caroline is a beast down in the block. I have flipped. I'm going with Nevada. They're fighting Eric Musselman's I think that they're solid defensively, and offensively they will attack matchups.
Let's move forward to this question. There's the fourth and final game, by the way, is Gonzaga at Florida State. That'll tip off at 10 p.m. tonight. But, Max, I know you're hot on this, so I want to get to this. In the Big East, they have a big idea on how to fix the one-and-done rule. Get rid of it. In its place, they've suggested a 2 or none rule in which players who decide to go to college would commit for at least 2 seasons, while high school players who declare for the NBA draft could forfeit future college eligibility. You want to start with Max on this? Let's do this. Do you like the idea?
Nope. I know the practical reasons for it. I understand them. I just never understood what college has to do with basketball. It can have something to do with basketball, but the two things are completely distinct. I don't know what it must have to do with basketball. You can be a musician in college. You could even, I suppose, get a scholarship if you're some brilliant concert pianist. You don't have to commit to 1 year or 2 years or 4 years or 10 years or sign any contracts or otherwise stipulate what you plan on doing. You're free to do as you please and ply your trade and make a living. And for the NBA to have that kind of alliance with the NCAA, essentially they're forming a syndicate. I don't even know if that's legal, but I don't like the idea because while college basketball is great, and I recommend it, I think Trae Young should have stayed in college. It would have been great for him. I don't know what it necessarily has to do with playing professional basketball.
Well, to me, that's not the point, and it's certainly legal, particularly if you can collectively bargain something. In the case of the NBA, you eradicate the one-and-done rule. You take out the mandate that you have to be 19 years of age or at least 1 year removed from high school before being able to enter our league. If you're talented enough to come straight out of high school, so be it. We can give you that opportunity. If you're college basketball, you also have the right to do what you feel is in your best interest. And if that means if you choose to come to a university, you can't give us just 1 year. It has to be 2. You've got a lot of businesses. Listen, we sign contracts here. We're grown men. We're professionals. We have college educations. We have families to feed and what have you. Last time I checked, my contract with ESPN was multi-year. It wasn't 1 year at a time. You know what I'm saying? I agreed to those stipulations. This is what they wanted to do. So did you, Max. So did you, Will. The list goes on and on. The fact is, when you are an industry, whatever industry you are, you have the right to make rules. That does not mean that a player has to capitulate to it. If you want to go pro, go ahead and go
Stephen
pro.
A., that's
but if you're
wrong.
going to come to college sports, you got to give us 2 years.
I don't think you have to give them 2 years. Here's the thing. I think kids should be able to come out of high school because that's their choice. If they're ready and the NBA wants to draft them, I'm all
I agree with
for
that.
it.
That's
I'm going
what
to
I
give you
said.
2 names. I'm going to give you 2 names, Stephen A., and this is where I disagree. I don't think they have to stay 2 years. I think if they're ready to go, if they feel like they're ready to go, if they're draftable, they should have that opportunity because back in the day, scholarships were 1 year renewable scholarships, and I never looked at a player as he was under contract. He was there to play for my team and to get an education. But I'm going to give you 2 names.
Get this in.
Trae Young and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Both of those guys came in. They weren't on draft boards, at least not high on draft boards. Both guys right now are going to be lottery picks. Why would you stop those 2 guys from earning a living for their family and starting their professional careers? If they wanted to be on the
Coach, I
boys,
agree with you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Right minds think alike.
Coach, I agree with you. But
Max agrees with me.
I need to address Stephen A.'s point. Stephen A., I suppose a professional association can say that you need to go to college or we want X number of years of college before you join our association. However, that's not what's being discussed here. The question is, who does this rule benefit? Wait, hold on. If the NBA is saying you can either not go to college and join our league, or if you choose to go to college, you can't just do it for 1 year, you must do it for 2 years. Philosophically, that is simply not consistent with the idea that they want college-educated people.
But that's not what I said.
They are doing that for the benefit of the colleges.
But that's not what I said. I'm not talking about the NBA. I'm saying if you are college basketball, what you're saying is that if you're going to come to an institution, you have to give us 2 years. If you can do it in football for 3 years before you're eligible to go to the NFL, you can do something similar like that to
How do
college.
you
I'm not
enforce
saying
that?
it should be
Hey,
3
guys,
years,
the
but you can do
NBA
that.
would love the 2 year rule.
Stephen A., my
Hold
point
on.
is, let me point is that's wrong because how do you enforce that? You enforce it by not allowing them to go to the pros. Who makes the choice whether they can go to the pros
Well,
or
what
not?
I'm saying
not
to
the
you is that
NCAA,
the
the NBA. And once you establish you establish
that's
that
not
the
what I'm
NBA and the
saying.
NCAA are working
That's
in
not what I'm
syndicate.
saying.
I
Y'all
need
ain't
a
even
30
listening
right
to my
here.
point. I'm not saying that. The NBA should get rid of the one and done stuff. The NBA should not be in the business of saying you have to be 1 year removed from high school.
But you're
or
saying if the
19 years of age.
NCAA says you have to commit to
right out of high school and come to our league, separate and apart from the NBA. I'm saying if you're college basketball and you think it's in your best interest not to allow one and dones, that you have to give us 2 years. That's separate and apart from the NBA.
NBA guys would love the
after 1 year.
NBA guys would love the 2 years thing because they get 2 years to evaluate those guys. Hey, if a kid's really good at the end of 1 year, let him go.
We got to go. Not to pile on Stephen A., but I just don't understand why they have to be treated differently from every other college student. Every other college student can leave whenever they want.
You don't want to pile on, but you just
Don't
piled
you do
on.
it in football?
I got to go.
How would you force them to stay?
Still to come. One of Kawhi Leonard's teammates doesn't think he'll be back this year, and he said it on camera. We'll discuss those comments. And Sam Darnold had an impressive workout yesterday, but is that enough for us to say the Browns should take him with the #1 overall pick? #1? We'll see. Plus, we got some breaking news concerning the Giants. Stay tuned. First Take, be right back.
See, I love the game of basketball.
Stephen Naismith.
I just want the world to know that I love basketball.
I must say, Naismith.
I love the game of basketball.
We believe the best light beer to have with friends is the original light beer. Always brewed with more taste, less calories, and half the carbs. Miller Lite. Hold true.
The sub above difference is the slicer. After all, if a sub isn't made with meat and cheese sliced to order, you should be a little suspicious. Sliced thin, sliced now. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Ready?
No.
You got this. Come on. Like a superhero. 1, 2, jump. Come on, jump.
Dogs bring out the good in us. Pedigree brings out the good in them.
Introducing the all-new Infiniti QX50, the most advanced Infiniti ever made. Infiniti, empower the drive.
Dad! Can you drive me to Jessica's house?
This is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow's important, but so's making the most of the house before they're out of the house. Spend your life living. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
My time is thin, but so is my lawn.
It's been worn down to ugly, thin grass. Now there's new Scott's Thicker Lawn, the revolutionary 3-in-1 solution for weak lawns. With a soil improver to strengthen roots, seed to fill in gaps, and fertilizer to feed. The result? Up to a 50% thicker lawn after just one application.
Now yard time is our time.
This is a Scott's Yard.
Tim is moving up in the world, promotion-wise, but his search for an apartment that's close to his new job was going nowhere fast-wise. The buttons they should be pressing are right here on apartments.com, where he can find the most places near his work and propel his upward mobility. Ta-da! The perfect launching pad for the new
Assistant Deputy to the Associate VP of Sales.
The what? Apartments.com. Change your apartment, change the world.
The sub above difference is giant. Giant hearts, giant differences, and giant wins. On Jersey Mike's annual day of giving, 100% of sales go to a great cause in your community. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Do you owe money to the IRS?
When I had my taxes filed, they said, you owe quite a bit of money. I was in a state of despair because I talked to the IRS and they told me the possibilities of garnishing my wages, taking my house, taking my car. I didn't know if I was going to make it. Optima Tax negotiated everything. I did not have to worry about talking to the IRS. They talked to the IRS. Optima Tax saved my life because I didn't think that I could ever catch my breath.
Optima is the #1 tax resolution firm, having resolved over $500 million in tax debt for their clients. For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 1-800-460-0216. That's 1-800-460-0216.
Buckets.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait up, Max. But there's 3